Right, so welcome to the stream. Has anyone seen, we all have in the room, has anyone seen the trailer for the new Dungeons and Dragons movie? And if so, what did you think? Spoiler, I wasn't a fan, but
Neither was I.
I'd like to know what the people in the chat think, because it does seem, looking at the comment section of that video, that either I'm just wrong or that the world has had some sort of joint lobotomy.
Yeah, not a fan of the dialogue. Seemed kind of marvelly, and therefore shit.
Yeah, genuinely, like, I think I left a comment, it was like, he's behind me, the movie. There is a moment in that trailer, right, where they're like, okay, we must not trip the mechanism, it will destroy the bridge. And the guy accidentally trips it, and you think, okay, that's funny, let's leave it to linger, let's let the joke linger. And he goes, I may have tripped the mechanism. It's like, juxtapose that Marvel shit with the moment in, I was going to say Ocarina of Time then, in Fellowship of the Ring.
He turns to fucking Toby.
Yeah, where Gandalf is reading the big, the big sort of tome, the big journal, and Pippin, being Pippin, is distracted by the skeleton of the dwarf with the fucking arrow in and pisses about with it, and the head comes off, and it's crazy loud, and then the whole skeleton slides into the well, and you see his agonized reaction to every bump. It's both tense and funny, and the joke works because the filmmakers have confidence that you will laugh at that. There's no like, okay, now Pippin needs to look directly into the camera and go, I may have alerted the goblins.
Yeah, just like, imagine like you could just go back and re-edit that scene just to make it like ruin the entire movie. Because like him saying anything. Whoops, my bad. I really boned that one up. We don't stand a ghost of a chance. Like, Pippin, shut the fuck up.
Send a ghost of a chance. I'm going to send you to the Shadow Realm. I can't hear Ghost of a Chance and not think of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I know. Neither can I.
Send a ghost of a chance.
Now I've just started picturing like Fellowship of the Ring, but Pegasus there. And my Millennium Eye, Gandalf boy.
You think Yu-Gi-Oh! I think
Fruity
Casper,
boy.
A Spirited Beginning.
We are not the same.
Yeah.
Just picture Gemma, but she's Gus Fring in that promo photo. Just like, I think of Casper a Spirited Beginning. You don't want to play the new Harry Potter game because J.K. Rowling is a horrible, bigoted piece of shit. I don't want to play the new Harry Potter game because Harry Potter sucks. We are not the same. What the hell are these? People are actually actually looking at the trailer. Dungeons and Dragons movie. I haven't seen it. I'd rather dip my balls in oil.
I mean, the only thing it's got super going for at the moment, it's not the first Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, to be fair, so I'm going to speak in defense of the original Dungeons and Dragons movie for a moment.
Get out my house.
It's got Jeremy Irons in it.
Yeah, but he's you know what? He seems to be the only one enjoying himself.
Yeah, the sort of competition between who can give the worst performance between him and Thora Birch. Like, Thora Birch is like trying to do as little acting as possible, and it's like he's picking up the slack and trying to do more acting every time they're in a scene together. She's like, but Profion, what about all of the commoners in the the kingdom? And he's just like
scene.
he's just like, in the and he's just like, well, princess.
I'm still getting paid no matter what I do.
I just bought a castle in real life. Look it up. That shit happened. Celebrities, man, they're all fucking crazy. Why would you buy a castle you couldn't afford?
Wait, this is
To fight his method acting.
It's just like, okay, well, I've got to be in Dungeons and Dragons. The first thing I'm going to do is buy a castle and build a moat.
I really want to get into the role of the Dungeons and Dragons character, and I thought, I need to get a dungeon. And then I looked around Hollywood, and they were not the kind of dungeons I wanted.
It's like they were everywhere, but Harvey Weinstein was an awful monster, wasn't he? But that was just the tip of the iceberg. So
that's what he called it.
Yeah. But, he was a sacrificial lamb, and it's all still going on. Welcome to the stream.
They got rid of Harvey Weinstein, so it's gone forever. We've cured it.
Yes.
I think that was more than 30 seconds if we mentioned Harvey Weinstein, right? We can still monetize this.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned Harvey Weinstein, so it's all gone out the window. It's like...
Avoiding it's just reading all the different things in the chat. Why do people trust celebrities?
I don't understand this weird thing of like, I was thinking about this a while ago, like, why are people venerating the fucking jesters who put on the Motley for us? Like, people are...
Oh, man.
Like, oh, I'm gonna go up on stage and tell you how I think. Fucking shut the fuck up! I pay you to dance for me! Pretend, man! Put on your shitty little Punch and Judy show, and I'll throw some fucking coppers at you. Why are you up on stage talking like you're a real person? Here's your award for best pretending! Now go back to the fucking pantomime!
I mean, where is the lie? There's... Honestly, everything you've just said, yes, 100%. I know we're not exactly breaking new ground here, folks, but we're reading an Onision book from, like, what, 2017 or some shit? You don't come here for people to break new ground. Let's call a spade a spade.
I feel like I'm the only one brave enough to say it on the internet, to call them what they are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh god, what an embarrassment the Golden Globes has been since they got rid of Ricky Gervais. They had this guy, and apparently, like, it was like, oh, his monologue was so cutting and funny, and I tried to watch it, and I was like, it's just not.
Jared Carmichael.
Yeah, it's like every joke he made was like undercut with, but I love you guys, and you're all amazing. It's like, no, you're not actually. You play pretend, and then you talk down to the working class in a room full of millionaires.
It's basically like it was basically like in the post-COVID special when Jimmy's the talk show host, and then he keeps trying to say something horrible and goes, "Thank you, you've been a terrific audience."
Thank you so much, Phantom Gline, for the 20 Aussie bucks. The Ozymandias dollars. Ozyman dollars. That's what we're going to call them. Mm-hmm. I got there eventually. Hollywood Oscars. We've learned from the Harvey Weinstein controversy, and we're going to take extra steps to make Hollywood a safe place for everyone. Hence why we've rehired Victor Salva to make movies 2 days later. Well, how many fucking chances did they give Andy Dick?
Way too many.
Yes, way too many. Your average person would have been in either prison or a mental institution by now if they weren't famous, if they'd pulled all the same shit that they'd done.
Yeah.
That guy is.
Speaking of which, how's Ezra Miller doing? Has he committed a crime this weekend?
What amazes me is that, like, Ezra Miller was allowed to stay for the longest fucking time at DC. Henry Cavill got fired like that, right? Apparently all Henry Cavill did was be somewhat rude to the showrunners of The Witcher.
And that's apparently not even... I heard that.
Well, apparently that's bullshit, but even if it's true, from what I've also heard is that The Witcher, which I don't watch, is horribly dismissive and insulting to the source material. Mm-hmm. That has very little to do with the source material, of which he is a huge fan.
Yeah.
So even if he was being rude to the showrunners, he probably had a good reason. But they were like, oh, sorry, you might...
I heard things like, he was using gamer slang.
They unironically, this post that came out about Henry Cavill used the term QAnon.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've stopped listening. You've said Q. You might as well have said alt-right. Like, I will not listen to you. You're talking out of your ass. Yeah. You're just throwing whatever fucking thing you heard on CNN. Oh, just so frustrating because it's like, do I even need to explain the shit that Ezra Miller has done? It's like, oh yeah, you can still play the Flash in a movie in a universe that we're not continuing anymore. And then also, Henry Cavill, no, you better go quit The Witcher so you can come and be Superman. Actually, you can't be Superman. Like, at least, are they just afraid of money and success?
Exactly.
Oh, another one.
Thank you, Peter, for the $4.99. My area is under a tornado warning, and here I am watching a stream where you read an edgy Diary of a Wimpy Kid knockoff. It was like, this could be my last night on Earth. How will I spend it? Just goes into the cupboard, breaks out the Thunderbird. Shoots into This Is Why I Hate You, Chapter 19.
This isn't even good enough to be the secret diary of Adrian Mole.
Oh, this fucking edgy Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
If we gave out awards, you'd get one.
Yes. We should do our own award show, but with blackjack and hookers.
We can hire Rick Gervais. We get a massive... We have shiny golden globes.
Because, unfortunately, the 420 awards is taken. That's real, and it's hosted by Derek Savage. I just want to float that out there.
Our award show, we sent out.
Otherwise, it would be the 420 awards.
We sent out invitations
because you get a £4.20 gift certificate is the award.
You sent out invitations to basically everyone in Hollywood. The only person who showed up was Nick Cage because we offered him a bucket of spaghetti.
We knew Nick Cage would show up.
Yeah.
All right, I got 420 the spread at Marks and Spencer's. Fucking yeah! Thank you very much to Squid Jones for the $1.99. Amazon is also making God of War. Yeah, I'm nervous about Amazon, like as a company to make things, because I don't think everything they make is. They're not Netflix, like they're not incapable of making good content. Although I like Castlevania, which is Netflix, but yeah.
I think that's changed now because didn't the writer did something?
I don't know.
Chat, who's probably better informed, the writer did something. I'm not sure what.
What did the Castlevania writer do?
I don't know. It's like
probably not what this writer did that we're reading now. Probably nothing quite that bad.
So we're on chapter 19, Saint Anger.
So yeah, the taste of anger, chapter 19.
Tastes like licorice.
I'm gonna move a little bit. It's not the best position for this.
You do have a screw just jetting into your leg.
Yeah, but you know.
I thought you were just going to say you do have a screw loose.
I mean, that's true. He's just like sitting in a big pile of nuts and bolts. It's weird. He just scatters on the floor.
But we should be clear. They're copies of the game Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for Xbox 360.
Big pile,
really all they're useful for is a makeshift chair. I'm not going to fucking play them, am I?
It's like some sort of discount dragon.
God, the new Dungeons and Dragons movie looks awful, doesn't it?
Smell got this big pile of failure Xbox games.
The Smaug with an eating problem.
that's a bell. He comes in, he's all anorexic. It's like, oh wow, Bilbo. It's a heartwarming story where Bilbo helps him get back on his legs.
Oh, I thought you meant like eating towards and it was like morbidly obese,
That's
like the big fat dragon in the Dungeons and Dragons trailer. Which thing, like all the dragons, you don't see them fly, right? So I'm thinking the dragons haven't evolved. Dungeons certainly haven't. Dragons haven't evolved wings at this point in the film, right? So at some point they're going to evolve wings, and Chris Pine's going to go, "They fly now," and somebody else is going to go, "They fly now." At which point he'll go, "They fly now." Fucking awful trailer. It's so bad.
I know.
And it's not been met with hatred like the Santa Inc. trailer was. Because people are stupid. 9 times out of 10, right, these bad trailers come out and they are hit with the scorn they deserve. Like the Ghostbusters trailer was. Like the Santa Inc. trailer was. Like the Velma trailer was. But every once in a while, something like the Jurassic World trailer will come out, and I'm sure we three remember how we felt about the fucking Jurassic World trailer. What? And everyone who isn't in this room or Toby was on their knees sucking that trailer's dick. And it was awful. And I can't help but wonder if the rest of the world has gone insane. So, thank you, John Lively. That's a great name. I don't think I've had you on the stream before. Hollywood. In light of all these new accusations, we've decided to turn over a new leaf. So here's Onision to host the Oscars. He also has a movie deal. Genuinely, the Hollywood's way of dealing with these scandals is to just do a better job of covering them up. That's how they're going to fix the problem. It's like, to avoid this happening again, what we'll do is make sure nobody fucking talks.
So, like the Catholics.
Yes, exactly like the Catholics. Riker! Thank you for the $5. This book feels like it was written by Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, you're not wrong. Injured Ian Malcolm. Cope has enough hate to rifle Am. Genuine, do not ever put me in the sort of position that artificial intelligence was put in, where I have any sort of power. I will burn the human race down.
I feel like you would instead of wiping out all mankind, it would just be like you got five film directors in cages or something like that.
It's be like J.J. Abrams, just
how Am absorbed the two other super, you absorbed me and Toby. If you could inscribe the word hate on every single...
Thank you, Darth Insomnus, for the $1.99 US. I'm very not excited for more onion nonsense. Yeah, us neither, to be honest, which is probably why we've barely fucking scratched the surface. We've read the title of the chapter and have gone off on one about the state of movies today. I can't stress enough.
Unusual for us. How much we disliked modern day movies.
I can't stress enough how much I hated the Dungeons and Dragons trailer and how disappointed I was. Don't get me wrong. I know, I shouldn't need like confirmation bias. I shouldn't need other people to agree with me. It doesn't really matter. But it just stressed me out how everybody else was like, this looks great, you know. This movie, this is how everyone who disagrees with me speaks. This movie looks just like when my friends and I played D&D. One serious DM, and the rest cracking jokes just like these. If the jokes in the D&D trailer are the sort of jokes you and your friends make, you and your friends are the most insufferable gaggle of wankers that have ever existed.
Cool. I need to read this before you read that super chat because
Okay.
I my world has been made worse having found this out that they made Jeffrey Dahmer Funko Pops.
I know about the Jeffrey Dahmer Funko Pops, actually, yeah. And somebody defended them in my DMs on Instagram. I was like, don't fucking come around here. Like, get out of here.
So you and I are not going to get on.
I was like, we are not the same. Thank you, Squid Jones, for the $4.99. At this point, they should just be true to the books and make Jurassic Park a horror movie. Doubt they'll have a scene where a baby is eaten by dinos. No, and perhaps they shouldn't. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Jurassic Park book, to be honest. I think it's fine, but I think the first movie's really great, and just about everything else that ever came out is awful, aside from 1 or 2 video games. Insufferable Gaggle of Wankers sounds like a band name. Yeah, it's one of those like 2006 ass indie bands like Kaiser Chiefs, Franz Ferdinand, Arctic Monkeys, or other people who are irrelevant or otherwise should be. So, the Taste of Anger.
Okay, you say irrelevant, but who's going to be opening up the Winter Olympics?
I can't believe Arctic Monkeys have enjoyed like a renaissance in their popularity. Because I remember in 2012, I was fucking surprised to see them at the Olympic Open ceremony or closing ceremony, whatever it was. I was like, who the fuck cares about these guys anymore? Cue my horror in fucking 2022. And people are like, oh man, the new Arctic Monkeys album fucks. Are you kidding? Oh shit, I just thought of the Rasmus. Thanks for that, person in the chat. It's been quite a few months since the incident with Senior Airman Austin. They could no longer use him for normal police duties due to him having inconsistent and defective coordination. I really want that to be like bowels. I don't know why. He just couldn't stop crapping himself.
So, Toby and Crohn's.
It's basically like that guy from Metal Gear.
Johnny
from Metal Gear. Just shitting in a bucket.
His depth perception was shot and his peripheral vision was cut in half. Austin was likely going to sit behind a desk for the rest of his life.
With a donut pillow under his ass.
Speaking of which, he now works at a desk inside the squadron, managing the ROD.
The rod.
Just managing the rod. It's a euphemism. Behind a desk, managing the rod.
It means under the desk.
Yeah. Wanking. We're talking about wanking.
No, I'm saying he's sucking someone up.
Oh, okay.
You don't make it weird.
You don't make it sad when he's filleting somebody. Airman, temporarily relieved of duty, who no one else wants to deal with. I think Airman Austin could have used this situation to get a medical discharge. But unfortunately, I think he's like me. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
In the sense that he doesn't see much of a future for himself outside the military just yet. I mean, I don't plan on staying in. I'm just not in a hurry to get out. What a fascinating character.
He just wanted an excuse to hurt someone, like all good soldiers.
Just after I got my neck brace off, Lieutenant Colonel Hoss signed me up for... This is like incorrectly formatted. So instead of saying what it should say, just after I got my neck brace off, Lieutenant Colonel Hoss. But he's like, just after I got my neck brace off, Lieutenant Colonel Hoss.
Why was it on Lieutenant Colonel Hoss?
No, he's the one who gave it to him. He's like, here you go, son. A neck brace. Wear this in court. Lieutenant Colonel Hoss signed me up for every other training event he could. I was flown all the way back to the States to get trained on various high-powered weapons, to include the 50 caliber machine gun, which has been known to literally rip people in two on impact. The amount of power they were giving someone...
Oh, yeah, like, I remember this thing where it's like, like, the one guy thought he would be a great soldier the way he, like, disregards orders and does...
Yeah, what we really want is, like, the human equivalent of just, like, a carpet bombing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you do.
Or, just like any sort of, like, an action hero who doesn't play by the rules, exactly what you want in your soldiers.
The amount of power they were giving someone with the significantly limited life experience I had was ridiculous. But that's what you get from volunteers. We were just a bunch of people who were young enough to say yes and weren't wise enough to say, no! No, Greg! You can't be writing shit like that, son!
No.
This is not the first
Because
time
I fucking know what you did! Normally, I would wait till the end of the chapter to read super chats, but I think I'll do it now. Just take a quick pause. Uncle Palpy, thank you for the £2. Somehow, Arctic Monkeys returned. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, just like Oscar Isaac looking very heartbroken. Somehow, Arctic Monkeys returned. Actually, that was the only one. Cool. We can just continue.
It's like somehow I returned for the sequel of this Star Wars movie.
I was also sent to SWAT
I've got a
training.
weird image now where they reveal Emperor Palpatine in the new Star Wars movies, and it's just the Arctic Monkeys.
You look good on the Death Star. I was also sent to fuck the Arctic Monkeys. I was also sent to SWAT training, where I learned all about how to empty out buildings. Is there like a less clumsy way you could have worded that?
I really want it to be empty out buildings, like talking about the latrines.
Yeah, just how to scrub the latrine.
I was given a toothbrush. I was told it was mine.
This project involved mostly army soldiers and barely any other airmen. SAS stands for Super Army Soldiers. During training, a middle-aged, high-ranking Marine trained me on close quarters combat.
Of course they fucking did. Oh my god.
He was far more skilled than I was, but in comparison to the rest of the class, I did very well, because you're fucking Mary Sue. There was even a point where I was given the opportunity to hurt the Marine like I did Martinez, but when I made the first of my normal sequence of moves, he dropped me instantly. Well, yes, of course he fucking did. I love the feeling of trying to hurt someone and failing miserably. It excited me. Well,
oh my god, that's even bigger red flag.
Also, just like the feeling of failing miserably. Like, get fucking used to that, Greg. It excited me. I had to learn all I could from that man. I wanted to become more capable with his guidance so I could defeat anyone as skilled as he was. The SWAT trainers, the Marine in particular, trained me incredibly well. I went in an amateur to close quarters combat and came out a professional. It was incredibly fulfilling.
I think we said before, but he is just a fucking anime character, isn't he?
Jim, would you like to take over it? My throat's a little bit scratchy. I wonder if you could take over.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hang on, there's the mouse.
During one of the many training events I was sent to, I got a call from Booty back at the base.
Oh fuck, was it his girlfriend?
Booty!
His girlfriend whose name we don't know.
I was sent... yeah. I didn't have a phone on me, but she called the building the people I was training with worked out of, and they connected us. Booty and I weren't heavy talkers, so most of what she said involved her getting a new roommate. Initially, it sounded like a bad thing, considering it limited our more intense bedroom moments.
Oh my god,
just
shut up.
my room.
Shut up.
But when I returned to base, I was subjected to literally the best case scenario.
Oh my god, you I know this is your book, but come the fuck on, Greg. I know what's gonna happen. It is bullshit, and I want to punch you in your fucking onion face.
Walking down the hall towards Booty's room, I heard two girls laughing. I was happy to hear my girlfriend was actually getting along with whoever was there. I set my bags in front of my door and kept walking toward her room. Booty had the habit of leaving the door open, so I didn't need to knock. When she saw me step in front of her door, she exploded with excitement. She ran up and jumped on me while screaming about the identity of her new roommate. As I felt Booty's warm embrace and heard the roommate's name being spoken, my eyes fixated on the young, beautiful blonde woman standing there. This girl stared back at me with a huge smile on her face. Tingles shot through my body as I held my girlfriend while looking at the new girl. It was Corey. Who the fuck is Corey again?
Is it Corey from Boy Meets World?
I don't remember. Okay, how much is left of this chapter? So we're aware. I got one more. How many more pages? Quite a few. Okay. I'm gonna do some super chats then.
Stop and read.
Okay.
Read the super chats.
So thank you, Peter, for the $9.99 US. I think I was wrong to compare Greg to Marshall Applewhite, the founder of Heaven's Gate. I think that that guy is more like Chris Chan, and Greg is more like the occultist and degenerate Aleister Crowley. I think those are perfectly fair, although I think that Aleister Crowley is probably much more charismatic.
Yeah, I think he wrote a better book.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for the Neighbour's Kid as well for the $5. If you only read the first word of every line, would you hear the confession to his crimes? Possibly. I think there's probably a coded message in here saying just "I did it" over and over again.
Like, if I do.
Oh yeah, just as a reminder that O.J. Simpson was a wife-beating murderer. Bold statement, I know. Really on my finger firmly on the pulse.
Well, the up-and-coming movie star who appeared in the Naked Gun movies. What's he been up to lately?
I will never get over the studio note about the first Terminator movie when they were considering actors for the Terminator. It was Lance Henriksen was the name that popped up, and a few others.
Brown.
O.J. Simpson popped up, and the studio said they couldn't envision him as a cold-blooded killer. Apparently neither could a jury of 12, but I find it really fascinating that that's a real note that they give us. Oh, I can't picture him as like a cold-blooded killer. I was just like, wait a while.
Well, I mean, that's what the Chewbacca defense does for a man.
Like, you know, like I always think it's like a what-if machine, like they did in Futurama, but you know, like interdimension. Like you want to find the dimension where O.J. Simpson was the Terminator, and it's like all these red flags.
Still holding my girlfriend, Corey walked up to us and hugged us both. My girlfriend quickly said, "Hey now, don't get too fresh. I just met you." I laughed and replied,
What the fuck is happening?
You've got to say, "Don't worry."
No, I know what the line is. I'm just like, what?
So I reckon. So what I think Corey was his old girlfriend.
Right? Yes, you're right.
I don't know if it was from.
I forgot because Corey is a boy's name. Don't worry, Corey's awesome.
Over dinner at the base's only restaurant, Corey explained.
Let's talk about like how much I have fucking Flanderized this voice from like when we first did Stones to Abigail, and the voice was it was just like this. This was the voice.
Your Trump impression.
And now it's just like, hello.
At the base's only restaurant, Corey explained that she was given the opportunity to go straight from her deployment to my base in Korea once her time there was up.
You know, it's great the way the American military just allows people to go wherever they want.
Yeah, just come and go as they please. It's the thing with the military is it's not quite so rigid and structured as a lot of other organisations, which I think is what I like about it.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to like ask for a transfer if you were say working at a B&Q, no way.
Oh, it's a huge pain in the ass, isn't it? But if you just want to leave the country and
transfer to a different military base,
fight some war or whatever,
sir, yes, that girl in front, while they're at their morning assembly, like not a reverie, it's the assembly. Can I go see my boyfriend? Where is he? Oh, he's in Korea. Oh, no problem. We'll give you your own private jet.
South Korea is a base that often takes people away from their non-immediate families.
No, it's a country.
Yeah, so say it's a country in Southeast Asia.
Like he doesn't understand geography very well.
Or
South Korea is a military base.
No, or he's like really like super dismissive. He's like, America, fuck yeah. No, South Korea, it's just our base.
If you're low ranking, the hours are so long it can be difficult to stay in touch with most anyone back home. This fact made the base easy to get assigned to. In fact, people probably thought Corey was crazy to want to go straight from one deployment to another. Regardless, didn't Corey...
I mean, she kind of is. She is crazy because
yes, is romantically interested in you. So,
regardless, Corey didn't seem even remotely upset that I was with Booty. Because you call her fucking Booty.
Like he gives me a name.
Yeah, so clearly he doesn't respect this.
I'm his girlfriend. You're his fuck rag.
If anything, she encouraged it. Basically, Corey was being the amazing friend she always was. As we ate, my girlfriend asked, "Have you and Artie ever dated?" I smirked at this question and Corey laughed.
I've pegged him a few times.
Who's voicing Corey?
I mean...
Toby.
Oh, Toby's just walked in, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hello, guys. Sorry I'm late. I spent 3 hours trying to suck my own cock. Did Did you succeed in sucking your own cock? I did not, but I got very close. Thank you very much for asking.
So after I failed, I would have been here right away, but then I had a bit of a cry and ate some waffles to make myself feel better.
I was listening to my Freddy Krueger records while I attempted to knock myself off. Anyways, I'm here now. So how's everything going with you, Jacob? It's going quite well with me, Toby. I think this bit has run its course. Do you wanna maybe read the lines? Oh, yeah. Let me just take a massive shit in your toilet first.
It'll be all black and cronsy.
He'll be back soon, guys. He'll be back to read the rest of his lines. You know what? I'll read the lines in Toby's absence while he's crapping, because it may take several hours, actually, for him to
If you hear
prove.
like an echoey sound, it's just him in the toilet.
What's the line?
No, never.
I don't care. Oh, yes. No, never. He's been the best friend I've ever had, though. I literally volunteered to come to the base because I missed him so much.
Okay, Rodney. Betty saw how sincere Corey was and asked, "Do you love him?" Corey smiled and replied,
Absolutely.
So, you know, like...
Hello, Connor.
So...
So such a
actually,
niche
it's more
joke that no
more
one's gonna get.
voicey.
Just think like that.
So, you know
Molly.
Actually, I don't even think even you were in on this stupid joke I'm doing. This is very niche.
Yes.
Jack, you know the term cringe gets used a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Cringe.
Cringe. No, based, I think.
With Onision's love life.
Oh, no, I thought you meant the voice acting.
No, not that.
I thought, because I think I'm doing an incredible job.
Yeah.
Certainly better than the cast of Velma.
Bertie blushed, hearing Corey confirm.
Bertie.
Bertie
Can't get over it.
Is it actually just like it's just a giant arse with some arms and legs?
It's like, Bertie blushed.
You know when Bart draws a face on his ass, it's like, I am not a butt. That is what I'm picturing.
Dick butt without the dick.
Yeah.
Like Bertie blushed, hearing Corey confirm her love
Then
for
she
me.
blushed.
In an admiring
Rom-pom and asked, do you blush?
in an admiring voice, Booty said, "I guess that makes two of us." I spoke up, saying,
You guys are killing me.
Booty laughed.
I'm gonna start coughing up blood. I know where this is going.
Booty laughed and replied,
Oh no! God, I hope not!
Yes!
No! Please, for the love of God, if someone's read this before, it's not going there, is it?
"No, really.
It can't.
No, really. I've never had someone defend me like Artie has. When he cares about someone, he'll throw down for them no matter
He'll
what.
go
He just won't go as far as to call me by my name.
He'll throw me down a flight of stairs." Corey then asked about what exactly
If he loves someone, he'll neglect them until they fall out of a window.
happened, and Booty explained
Look that one up.
what I did to the last guy that put his hands on her.
We're going to take a quick break to read some super chats now, but my goodness. What a fucking... I've forgotten how to speak, actually. I've forgotten my own language.
So you're choking in your own rage.
Yeah, choking my own rage here. So thank you to Uncle Palpy for the £2. I've actually groomed more authors than I've read. Thank you, Ruben Anderson, for the 10 New Zealand bucks. I have an old BCP graphic shirt, and randoms have complimented me on my Creepypasta shirt with Sonic EXE on. So I've had to awkwardly explain what BCP is, and how I'm not actually a huge Creepypasta fan. What I love about that is the people who like Creepypasta are so dumb, there's what's much larger than the Sonic EXE in the picture is me, Matt, and Toby. So it's just standing there, as clear as a fucking bell. They're just like, see, I don't know who those guys are that take precedence in the image and that the entire lighting is framed around. But I like the Sonic EXE on there. I'm a huge Friday Night Funkin' fan myself. By the way, the new graphic design has Gemma on as well. We have merch. There's new merch. It's still on sale. It's still sale prices. Still cheaper than it will be by the time summer comes around.
Remember, if you don't buy the one...
Get it now, because it's cheaper than it will be.
If you don't buy the one with Gemma on it, that means you're sexist.
It does mean that.
No matter what you
think.
think.
And it means something about QAnon, if you don't get that. Thank you so much to Darth Insomnis for the $1.99. I ship Greg and an internment camp.
There's plenty
Very
of them
nice.
in China.
Oh, thank you, Phantom Glenn, who has led this before. The 2 Aussie bucks, the Aussie man dollars. It's not going there. Don't worry.
Oh,
Thank goodness. I genuinely couldn't read another Onision sex scene. I just couldn't. I nearly threw up the first time.
he keeps screaming like, "This is just like Kratos in God of War. Where are my red orbs?"
Perhaps they must give Derek Green. I bought a Cult of X sticker. It's on my water cup now. Unspeakably based. All right. Shall we continue?
Corey was stunned. She abruptly asked,
Oh my god. Are you?
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I've never been this far away from... Speaking of bands.
Are you talking about that little girl that got murdered? Are you talking about the guy with the eye patch? You did that, Arthur?
I nodded in response, and she continued.
That's the guy who was assigned to show me around a base and process my paperwork.
I replied,
Well, watch out for him. He's a pervert. I, the resident expert, can spot one
We can
straight
tell
away.
each other.
We were in the same club. Some might call it a ring.
It's like I
met him on this island one time.
Like I've put myself as being the pedo finder general of this fine establishment.
I beat him down to establish the pecking order. I am the chief pervert.
Corey smiled and replied,
Oh, I guess I don't have to watch out with you around.
I look at my still slightly damaged hands and said,
No, you do. He's a bad guy. I know it.
Before there was a significant silence, Booty spoke up in an optimistic tone. How about this veggie burger, huh? Oh, my bad. You guys eat meat.
Pause. Just pause! It just says pause! Yes, that's right. I'm dating a vegan. Literally thought I'd never bother with a vegan, but love has nothing to do with diet. Even the hatred I have for my father and everything he stood for couldn't distract me from the fact that Booty is genuinely a good person who has been amazing to me from day one.
But I don't know her name.
Diets are essentially irrelevant in relationships, so long as both people are healthy and also are consenting adults. Greg, that's something you seem to keep missing.
Yeah. Also, like, oh, I don't care about being a vegan. It's not like my dad. Like, well, I really hope not, because like the reason you like this person is because I have a fat ass which you can fuck, and I'm kind of hoping you weren't doing the same thing with your dad, unless that was the reason why he kicked you out.
Yeah, since Greg's such an unreliable narrator, so like, yeah, my dad kicked me out because I wanted to eat meat. It's like, and also I kept trying to have anal sex with him.
Oh, so is that why you can't go home anymore?
He wasn't too fond of the fact that I kept trying to beat his meat.
As they talked constantly the rest of the meal, I mostly just sat there and angrily cut my steak into abnormally tiny pieces. Every swallow was a slap in my father's face.
With my dick.
Good. Let's read some super chats. Okay, so we've got Sinis or Kinnis, I don't know which it is. I'm assuming Sinis because it's a C rather than a K, but it might be a foreign language, so who knows. Thank you for the $5. I always visualise Booty as a sentient adult toy in the shape of a woman's pelvis impaled upon a rake. That is the only sort of creature that would bed him.
He's got like some sort of elaborate flashlight on a rake with like a bucket on top.
If it's like a woman's pelvis, I'm picturing like a bone as well, like an actual pelvic, you know.
You can get there's.
It's really horrifying. What I'm picturing is basically like an abomination that like some sort of horrible, pre-Christian druidic culture would have worshipped.
What I'm imagining is
It's a wicker man with a flashlight.
It's like what I'm imagining is the
Scarecrow.
So what I'm imagining is, that toy from Toy Story that's like the fishing rod with the legs? That's basically like a hooker?
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining. But it's got a face.
Thank you, Prada with an O for the $4.99. Too tired to think of anything funny to say. Fucking mood. Good to have you back, though. Well, it's good to be back.
Why are you so close to the mic?
Because, Matt, because I'm uncomfortable sitting anywhere else.
Sit on the chair.
I don't want to. I'm here now. Peter, thank you for the $1.99. People within that group just call it Q, not QAnon. Here's the thing, though. The media uses the term QAnon unironically. They also say things like, do you remember when they said hacker known as 4chan? I mean, they're morons. Who cares? Who cares what the actual people who use the group
The
call
artist, formerly known as Prince.
it? Yeah.
I was watching that.
I think we'll do chapter 20 as well.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this for...
chapter 20? Let's have a butcher's. A few pages long, but I think it's about... Oh, it is kind of long, actually. Oh, I don't know. Oh! Yeah, I think we can... I think
it just looks because it's all...
It is big lettering.
I reckon if you zoom out on the thing, it'll probably look...
I can't be asked to zoom out, though, because it's giving... It's nice and easy to read like that, isn't it? So
every day I worry all day.
Yeah, people seem fine with the audio. But yes, we're in the living room at the moment, but eventually we're going to get some new mics and stuff. So
yeah, it's not only it's I would say relatively big living room. It's also got like
it's
no
open,
doors.
Yeah, it's open plan because it's like it's a bead door.
Yeah, there was a door there, but it got in the way.
It was annoying, so I took it off. So
and the kitchen's just
and the
holes.
kitchen is like basically
straight.
Yeah.
And also the ceilings are quite high, so I would like the acoustics.
Yeah, like
it's really
unnecessarily high.
Yeah, but it looks nice because it makes the house look more bougie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it is not ideal acoustics. So eventually we are gonna be recording in what is currently the spare room with like soundproofing and shit, with a couple of new mics as well. But for now, you're gonna have to make do with this.
There's enough.
But hopefully, it sounds good.
Yeah.
In Korea,
in July,
they would at times offer up opportunities to go on temporary duty assignments. I'm hoping that he takes over. He beats North Korea.
That's why Korea is not a country; it is a base.
So I volunteered.
I wouldn't go to North Korea.
I volunteered for every single one because that's what I do.
That's how I roll.
And he just like flips up his collar with his sunglasses on.
I volunteer when most everyone else is too afraid or otherwise unwilling to.
Just sucking his own dick, just typing away. He's like, "Mom, I'm trying to write this book about how great I am. How do you spell?" I'm like, "No, Greg, you can't. That's not a word. That's a noise."
The real question is, why are you in his house?
I'm his mum in this scenario.
Oh no, I'm
his mum sounds exactly like me.
I was just like, "What are you doing to Greg's mum?" And like,
it's just like, I was like, I'm the one giving advice. I'm just hanging out the back of his mum. Greg's son. Like, I'm just stretching my glutes on Jacob Sherwood. Isometric exercise. Can you join me?
Not only did I not want to let the Lieutenant Colonel down, but I also felt that that's how I could best serve my country while I was in. While you were in what?
Korea?
It just says while I was in.
Well, Jacob was in his mum.
Initially, I was supposed to go to the desert.
Such an immature joke. Just like, what's the running out of today's episode? You know we're doing your mum.
Initially, I was supposed to go to the desert like Corey did, only for 2 weeks instead of 6 months. But fate had a different path for me.
He was found dead in a ditch.
Finally.
He tripped down the stairs.
Dead in Ohio.
Finally, after volunteering countless times in the past, they slotted me right into booty to go on a short deployment to a combat zone. This meant
the danger zone.
This meant I would be tax-free for a small part of the year, and I would get TDY pay, which in many cases is well worth the trip.
When you said tax-free, like
when taxes.
On our way to the desert, we had to combat dive. Combat diving makes for one of the worst experiences I've had in some time. The non-cop airmen, thank you, on board the plane were pretty upset with me for getting out of my seat during one of their many strategic maneuvers. The problem was I needed to get some kind of puke bag before I vomited soda and chewed up burritos on their expensive equipment. Lovely.
I mean, it is a nice image of seeing him be a bitch.
So I'm going to read some of these super chats. We just finished the page. Brain Flare, thank you for the 5 Aussie man dollars. It doesn't matter which you put in first, milk or cereal, the bowl is always last. It's the sort of chaotic energy that you bring to the party.
On the bright, as long as you don't use a plate.
That the other guests do not like. I can hear the sound of Frosty hitting my plate.
That's
like, just die.
What was that episode? I gotta rewatch that episode.
I remember almost word for. I don't remember what episode it was. I remember almost word for word.
It was like a live stream.
Yeah, it was just like Frosty's hitting my ball.
I was thinking about that. So there's the one where like it's like Arthur takes place in the post-apocalyptic world after mankind's been wiped out.
Thank you, Kuko Chad. I don't know for the $2. Kobe just walks in with motor oil for Gemma. I mean, yeah, she said surprise her. Thank you, Phantom Gline. Don't kid yourself, Jacob. We all know you're there for Onision's dad. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you make him eat vegetarian food.
Yeah, I'll give you a nice big bit of bologna.
Thank you, Peter, for the $9.99.
The front's for the vegetarian, meat eater in the back.
Like the sex mullet.
That's a band from the fucking 80s.
A business in the front, party in the back.
What up, New Hampshire? We are sex mullet!
So, if I achieve nothing else with my life, I want to start a band called Sex Mullet. Or, more realistically, inspire someone else to start a band called Sex Mullet.
Don't worry, if you die first, I will chisel the word sex mullet on your gravestone.
Thank you.
Here lies Jacob Sherwood, sex mullet.
Thank you very much, Matt. However, realistically, you will die first.
I know, but I can pay someone to do it after I've gone.
Thank you, Peter, for the $9.99. Here's something that I've only seen one YouTuber mention. It's pretty likely that Greg named the self-insert character Arthur because it sounds like the word author. Oh, God, I hope that's true.
Arthur's note.
Author
Riker. Thank you
Author
for
regales.
the $5. The Frosties rant is from a live stream called Bad Creepypasta Live with Matt. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Because I'll probably clip that at some point and upload it as a separate video. I'm thinking of like eventually doing like a compilation video of just like my favourite like bits we've done.
You have to listen to the nearly 10 years of shit we've been doing.
Yeah.
I know we haven't been doing like I think every day, but
yeah, but like, what else am I going to do with my free time? Work on this movie I've been promising. What am I, spooning?
I was going to make that joke.
After walking towards the flunk of the plane.
The flunk of the plane.
The flunk of the plane.
The funk of the plane. He's going in a disco plane.
The flunk of the parade.
The Funko Pop vinyl figure of Onision.
This happened to me at Christmas, and you and your mum just rinsed me for it because I think I said something like "please" instead of "please."
To be fair, we were quite pissed all Christmas because I was making cocktails that were like, I wouldn't let you make cocktails if you made like a quote unquote French martini. It was just vodka.
It was a French martini.
It was so the French basically put 8 shots of vodka in their martinis, do they?
That's
It's
a
just-
Russian milk breakfast.
I mean, that vine that says 2 shots of vodka.
Yeah, that was pretty much what you did. Like, it's not what a
Your
shot
hand's
is.
position doesn't say shot. That's not a shot. That is a chug.
I made it French martini. It is vodka, pineapple juice, and raspberry liqueur.
Sex Mullet is on my gravestone right underneath Dead Gay Muppet Gangbang. Don't you talk about me, you son of a bitch.
He died the way he lived in a gay Muppet gangbang.
After walking...
If I die before you, please write my entire funeral speech. Like,
Well, you know
he
what?
died the way he lived, having sex with sharks.
Do I have a say in this? No.
No, but
You're
like,
not dying, are you? So,
yeah, Gemma, remember
in this scenario, I'm not dying either, folks, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, but also, Gemma, you say that, but the one you should be more worried about is if you get married, because I was told I was going to be the best man, and I get to write the speech.
Well, no, you insisted on being the best man. I didn't ask you to be best man. You said, Jacob, I'm definitely going to be best man when you get married, right?
I'm cool with Matt
That's
being
how
best
it
man.
worked.
That's how it went down.
So,
The first time I met Jacob, he was in an opium den, servicing any man he could.
the only reason you're saying opium den is because I know that you want to try and get the word Chinaman into your speech as many times as possible.
So it was my younger years when I visited the Mystic Orient. My guide Wingwu,
You were on the highway to the danger zone.
I got a big mustache on.
So, my school was so racist, right, that when we did...
How racist was it?
When we had a quiz at the end of the year in the assembly hall, no, in fact, it was in the gym, but it was sort of like an assembly. One of the questions, it was a riddle, and the question was, how high is a Chinaman? And the answer was simply, yes, indeed, he is. Because that was supposed to be a Chinese person's name. I point out, this was in the fucking 2000s.
Yeah.
I always tell you, yes, I went to a very old-fashioned all-boys school. Like, people say, what was your schooling like, Jacob? Fucking weird. They used words like Chinaman and hit us with rulers.
In the 2000s.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in school. I'm older than you, and I was like told to basically go sit, like, I'm a dyslexic child, so go sit in the corner so you don't bother us.
Yeah.
And I found a whole bunch of boxes of Old Dandy and Beanos, which is a comic if you don't live in the UK. And I'm looking for it, and I'm like, fuck, these are, like, even as a kid, I was like, fuck, these are weird. Because they came from, like, the 80s and earlier. Because it all have, like, Dennis the Menace being, because it's different kind of Dennis Menace in this country, being, like, hit with a fucking slipper.
Yeah.
And the kids at the school being hit with rulers. And I thought it was so weird.
Yeah, genuinely, like, so I remember there was this kid named... And he was a very rattish-looking boy and very annoying. But he'd wound up our PE teacher, who I can't actually say what happened to the PE teacher. Nothing to do with this, because there was no punishment for this. But his life turned out in such a way that it's really, really funny and dark. But I could never say on a public live stream what happened to this guy. But I will share it with both you when we're off the air, because it's hysterical.
Blood Eagle.
But he was so mad that this kid had been pissing about. He'd given him endless warnings. And he came back in, and he was just running around and playing on the climbing apparatus and everything. He just took out a yardstick and fucking chased him around with it, clacking it on the floor. And as he tried to climb up the climbing thing, he just whacked him across the fucking legs with it. And there was it was like a spray of blood. Just and yeah, his legs were just pouring blood. There was no punishment for the teacher. Yeah, again, this was in like 2005.
This is like something like, I mean, like, I was going to say it's not like the 80s, and it's like, I can't remember when corporal punishment was outlawed in this country, but I mean it
wasn't fucking legal.
Yeah.
They just did it. Like, I had teachers throw like board rubbers at me and like pull my hair and stuff. Like, I never had one like properly smack me, but there was this kid who called Mr. Harvey, big fat guy, right? He was a great English teacher. I actually really liked him. But
he would backhand a motherfucker.
Yeah. So there was this kid who wouldn't shut up, right? And he said to him, "Son, if you don't shut up, I'm going to throw you out of that window." And then the kid, he said, "Sir, at the end of the day," he called him sir. So at the end of the day, you couldn't fit out that window, you fat cunt. Which was true, but he walked over and punched him so hard in the stomach it just winded him. Again, this was in like 2004, 2005.
The comments are like, well, that explains a lot. Also, Sinis, thanks for the $10. Thanks for opening up.
Shall we finish this page before we read the super chats?
I'll just do this one. It's like, Sinis is, so thanks for the $10. Thanks for opening up. Here's some money. Repeat all of that to a therapist.
We've been over this. He's not going to spend it on the therapist.
After walking towards the front of the plane for only a brief period, I finally listened to the airmen screaming at me to sit down. I sat in an open seat, and one of the crew members told me to put on the oxygen mask. He pointed beneath my seat to grab the mask. I put the mask on. The fresh air surged into my lungs, but it didn't help.
Hold on a second. Like, so he's being deployed and he's got air sick. Like, don't they, like, make sure to find out that if you're a candy ass and you can't actually handle airplanes like that, like, then you don't go on the missions?
Well, considering he's meant to be in the Air Force. Finally, they got me a puke bag, but unfortunately the bag was full in a matter of seconds and nearly overflowed. I was just lucky I could force it to stop until I had something else to hurl in. Seeing how dire the situation was.
Seeing how dire?
Sorry.
Do you ever just get like possessed by Ryan Hollinger for a moment? However.
Saying how dire the situation was, and Sergeant jumped up and grabbed the large.
Why does your Irish accent sound like a valley girl?
They handed it to me in a major.
Like, seriously, all those leprechauns.
Yeah, just like
top of the morning to you. Like, seriously.
Just sitting in a mall in the 1990s. Just
they're all like
okay.
Three blonde girls and one old Irish dude.
It's like, have you guys heard that there's no potatoes? We gotta eat shoe leather.
Like, it's so trendy today to bomb the English.
Let's go bomb the English.
They handed it to me, and immediately I threw the smaller bag, only to following it by I threw the smaller bag, only to following it by adding additional vomit directly from my body. That was a sentence that, after a short while of that, I mostly explosively projectile vomited, which made everything come out pretty fast.
Okay, let's
like
be
all
honest.
those allegations.
Let's be honest. Let's make this
I hate
real.
that like Greg jokes make me laugh like Seth Rogen.
Let's be honest, like, he wasn't vomiting, he was shitting himself.
Yeah.
He was standing there shitting himself.
My projectile diarrhea.
I started rubbing it on me. The
That's the
only
noise.
warmth. But what was it the thing I remember us talking about baby teeth shitting himself, rubbing his teeth? The only warmth he's known since he's never known the love of a mother.
It's like, oh yeah, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and wait at the side of the road for the people that you killed in the car crash, then you might miss it. We landed the plane, and I walked off, a giant garbage bag full of vomit in hand.
Like a giant gut, like, so even when he's being a bitch, he needs to outdo everyone. This is how much vomit I did. Look how hard I am. I threw up the most ever. Give me a medal.
We were quickly shown to our rooms at the base, and I was told I was up first to guard the plane we came in on. It would be nice to say I got it in. Well, it would be nice to say I got into some life or death situations during this TDY, but for the sake of entertaining anyone reading this, but I didn't. Brilliant. The most.
I couldn't think of anything entertaining, so I won't write anything.
So I'm just going to talk about how sick I was in infuriating detail. The most activity.
This reminds me of a dream I had. Tails, tell me about it in agonizing detail.
The most activity we saw on that TDY was our repeated combat diving. Me being extremely motion sick and not a fan of the desert climate, you can assume this experience was pretty miserable for me. My time in the desert served as a great example of why so many other people didn't volunteer. Yes, you get paid a little extra, but you deserve more than that after what they put you through. Like I said, this is why cowards live and people like me die young.
I can fucking only hope.
We know we're in for it and sign up anyway.
Okay, so let's read some super chats.
Why
now
couldn't
that
you
we're-
die younger?
The page is finished. Thank you, some English bloke, for the £5. Just be glad Gemma didn't put iron brew in that martini. I would have just spat it out immediately.
Or even burn your tongue off. Look, I'm thinking it can't be failed because I put iron and now I feel like the tongue's going to get closed
I'd
down.
say that, like, when we had a lock-in and like the bartender at James's birthday was like, I can't legally sell you this booze that I brought back from my holiday in Jamaica, but I can give it to you as a gift now that the pub is closed. And there's one that was like, so the game is to swish this booze around your mouth without crying for 1 minute, which I did. I succeeded, but like I couldn't feel the inside of my mouth for about 3 days.
That
So
sounds incredibly stupid. We need to do that sometime.
We don't. I'm never fucking doing that again. It was a
Also,
sensory nightmare.
It melted the enamel
Yeah.
in your teeth.
Pimp Demon, thank you for the 20 Nokia bucks. Tailspin is my favourite Matt quote. I don't recall when Matt yelled about Tailspin.
I mean, I vaguely remember hearing Tailspin, but I can't remember the context.
Phantom Glenn, thank you. You call a teacher fat here, down under. You essentially have to reenact the Shelob scene in the third Lord of the Rings book. Those things are unrelated, though. It's not because you call the teacher fat. It's just that quite often in Australia, giant spiders just attack you.
Yeah.
That's actually, it's a little known fact about history is that one of Henry VIII's wives was actually Australian. You can guess which one?
Peter, thank you very much for the
It's weirdly unhistorical. Yeah, they don't cover it much in history. It'd be more interesting if they did.
I should point out Greg wrote this because he was angry that people hated Stones to Abigail. So this whole story is just Greg talking about how he wants to maim and kill everyone who doesn't like him. I love that. Thank you. He yelled Tailspin to the tune of DuckTales. Cobe made fun of him for it. Are you sure that was Matt? That really feels like something Toby would do.
I think I might have done it ironically.
Oh, okay.
That
Well,
sounds like something.
It don't even matter. Okay, so let's return to the story.
Toby would have done it sincerely. Like, oh yeah, I love that show about those ducks who fly around. Yeah, you know.
Tailspin!
Tailspin!
Every day they're tail spinning. You see, Baloo would jump out and he would swing through all the sky pennies.
Every day they're trying to save the rec centre. That's the plot of Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
You know, Baloo the bear, who's a millionaire who runs Duckburg, but he needs to raise money to save things. And then Freddy Krueger comes along and he sings "I Want to Be Free."
I thought it was
And then Count Dooku, who's a giant tree, comes along.
Toby, are you okay? He's like, not really. I think there's treacle in my brain.
I'm smelling toast right now, Jacob. I'm a bit scared.
Basically, because the nurses are on strike, I can't get me brain medicines off of the national health.
I thought it was Breaking 2 Electric Blue Baloo.
Baloo! Oh my god.
So you're laughing too long, we're going to need to cut that out. It's only fair, because, you know, Ghostman Pat.
Oh. Fucking hip hop bare necessities. So this is how I die.
It's just the scene from us on Titanic, except for it's a bear instead of a dog.
When I arrived back at the base in Korea, I headed straight to Corey and Booty's room with all my bags in hand. Her door was closed, which told me she likely wasn't there, but I still knocked. Just like I expected, no one answered. Cope?
Just kidding. Hey, killer! Oh no, it's Corey. Forgive me. Hey, killer. We're over here.
Corey hollered from my room. I smiled and wobbled towards her.
I have become Big Chunga.
Wobble towards her. Fellas, when are we going to acknowledge the existence of medium chungus?
You shut your fucking mouth about medium chungus.
Small chungus.
You do not talk about the other chunguses.
What
They
about
were banished for a reason.
supersized chungus? The 7 seals of supersized chungus.
See, it's like Knights of the Round Table. There's big chungus, medium chungus, small chungus. Not the Scottish one, not so wee chungus.
Not so wee chungus! Oh. So fucking stupid. Like, I know I've made this joke 100 times before, but like, great use of my college education.
You see, it's just normal Big Chungus. He's got a kilt on and a See You Jimmy hat. I fucking miss my See You Jimmy. I wish I had still had a See You Jimmy hat.
I smiled and wobbled towards her with all my bags dangling and smacking my sides.
The clap of his ass.
Corey laughed at how silly.
Sergeant, I'm trying to do airdrops, but the clap of my ass keeps distracting me.
Corey laughed at how silly I look at clap, and I don't stress this enough. My humongous ass cheeks. I looked and went back inside. As I walked in the door, I could see Booty laying on my bed in a provocative fashion. Booty said in an alluring tone,
Sorry, I'm just fucking the way you said that was just like, Gemma, are you trying to seduce me? Just like, clap. And I cannot stress this enough. My humongous ass cheeks.
You okay?
It's like it's Gemma's idea of like sexy talk.
Here, Jacob, let me turn you on. It's
Just
like start reading.
Put, like fancy lingerie on, just like clap. And I cannot stress this enough.
Fucking clap.
Fucking clap.
Hey, Artie.
Fucking clap.
I smiled somewhat.
Wait, hold on. Gemma. We found moist.
Yeah, like just fuck people who are bothered by the word moist. Get the fuck out of here.
Moist.
I smiled somewhat confused
Burger.
and asked them both. Cope?
Alright, well, how have you guys been?
Out of nowhere, Corey said,
Rachel wants us to have a threesome.
Who the fuck is Rachel?
Rachel wants us to... Well, you guys can read.
I froze in place. I was at an absolute loss for words.
I cried a little bit and then passed out in a puddle of my own feces and jism.
As we all stood in silence for at least 10 seconds, Booty cracked and started busting up laughing. Oh my god.
Could you imagine having sex with you?
Oh my god, she's kidding, Booty said. I was still suffering the intense rush of blood surging through my brain.
Yes, your brain.
Yeah.
Sure.
Corey giggled and got to the point.
No, but we do have something to talk to you about.
Booty then said, "Come, sit." Dropping my bags on the floor, I walked over to sit next to Booty. Now, normally people who live in the dorms have twin beds,
I don't give a fucking shit about any of this.
but because I didn't have a roommate, I just pushed the 2 twin beds together to form 1 king-sized bed, because that's how math works.
No, not if you're Terrence Howard.
Yeah. Corey walked
No,
over.
but it is no 0 because if I have 2 apples, if Jacob and I both have an apple, and I give my apple to Jacob, then I still have both apples because the whole universe is interconnected.
Yeah.
So that means that my money is Robert Downey Jr.'s money, and Robert Downey Jr.'s money is mine, so I can go spend all his.
You know what? I'm glad he didn't go back for more of those Iron Man movies.
Corey walked over to the now king bed and sat on the second half of it. Corey grabbed my hands, looked into my eyes, and said,
Moist.
We wanted to be upfront with you about what's going on the moment you got back.
I started to feel panicky, and Booty could tell, so she began rubbing my back. Corey confessed.
Fucking hell. Rachel and I are falling for each other.
I jumped off the bed.
Even in like a story where he like makes himself a Mary Sue, he gets cucked. What a
Yes.
fucking loser.
No. I don't know if have you ever seen Clerks, the animated series?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay, so do you remember that bit where like every single woman Randall's ever slept with turned into a lesbian?
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I'm so cool. I ruined a woman. Like, yes, you do. It's that. He's like, after having sex with you, I just don't find men appealing anymore. It's weird.
Yeah. I jumped off the bed and in a loud tone said,
Wait, what?
Booty jumped up and hugged me, and I said again.
What, really?
Booty answered while hugging me,
Lame.
We both love you, don't hate us. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This felt like betrayal! I said angrily.
Betrayal!
I said angry, this has nothing to do with XCOM. If you love me, why are you screwing me over?
What's a paladin?
The knowledge of the land shall be great. In a calm tone, Corey answered.
There's a reason you and I get along so well. There's also a reason why you and I are attracted to the same people, Arthur.
Still
We
frustrated.
like gigantic asses.
It's because you're a girl. Still frustrated, I replied to Corey, saying,
What are you talking about?
Corey immediately replied.
I'm gay, Arthur.
Hearing this, I felt like
And so are you.
Hearing this, I felt like my head and heart were about to explode.
I was very homophobic.
Corey added,
Think about it. Don't talk. Just think, Arthur.
with Booty's arms wrapped around me, feeling more like shackles than a loving hug at this point.
Racist.
I decided to sandpaper
off me all.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do DIY. Like, the first time I've actually felt something in common with Greg. If I got cucked and like my life started to fall apart in front of me, I feel like doing DIY would make me feel a little better.
You know, like there's like a film where they have that bit where like the camera zooms in while the background sort of like stretches out and things, and you know, like the sound sort of like starts going down and you hear a sort of beeping noise. It's like that, but he also gets out a power saw and he's just like putting a bench together.
Oh my god. I decided to stand there and follow Corey's advice.
Cookie.
I was about to call her Casey because that's a girl's name. I removed myself emotionally on everything that had happened up to that point. Stop talking to me, I'm woodworking. Corey and I also...
Can you see I'm trying to put the finish on this nice table?
Corey and I always got along perfectly. We had almost all the same interests and loved each other, but despite that, she and I never got together. Even after I tried to date her, we remained friends. I thought I was just ugly to her, or that she didn't like my personality enough to be with me.
Both perfectly reasonable assumptions.
I was clearly wrong. She said it herself. She's a lesbian. But what did this mean for my girlfriend? I was done thinking about it, so I asked Corey.
Isn't this the backstory or something to the fucking... what was it? Ross from Friends?
Yeah, like Carol and Susan.
This is so awful. Like, I don't think it's been awful, it's been badly written. Like, what a fucking horrible thing to happen. Like, I don't give a shit about this character, but my god.
Imagine if this happened, like, could you imagine if this happened to someone who was worth giving a shit about?
Yeah, like...
So like an actual human being.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, did you say the sentence?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going to happen?
Booty, now only half hugging me, said in a happy tone, Nothing really, Artie. You and me are still together if that's okay with you. I'm just falling for Corey too, And we thought it would be okay because you're a boy and she's a girl.
I'm sorry, what? Like, why would that be okay? At one point, if I'm going like, you know what?
You see-
I don't mind. I don't mind you cheating, so long as you gaslight me into thinking it's okay.
You see, Jacob, you think it's like too boringly. You see, like, you know, you're allowed one husband and one wife. It's there in the Bible, maybe, probably. So everyone's allowed one husband and one wife. So
I thought about what she was saying, and I couldn't think of a single way in which this was a bad thing.
What?
First-
How about the fact that your girlfriend has fallen in love with someone else? You weak fucking cuck.
Firstly, I thought Booty was just leaving me, or was leaving me. Secondly, I don't think you all know how much I love Corey. She and I had already been through so much together.
oh my God, we haven't had a chance to say this in a while. Simp.
Beautiful, yeah, simple.
She and I
Could
already
wait,
been
wait,
through...
could you wait? Moist. Simp.
She and I had already been through so much together. I've told Corey literally everything about myself at this point, even the stuff I talked about holding back before, and this just brought me closer to Corey. In addition to this new arrangement allowed for my girlfriend to be happier.
I'll jump back in now.
Simping. Don't give that. Oh no, she ain't.
You know what they say?
Simping.
You know what they
Don't
say?
give that boy.
Simping ain't easy. I said to them both, "You're both right. You'll be happier this way. And I love you. So this is the way it should be."
So you'll let me sit in the corner and cry.
Literally every polyamorous relationship is like this. There's like the one whose idea it was, and the one who cries themselves to sleep every night. You know, the Will Smith of the relationship.
Oh, you got
Immediately, Booty hugged me extremely tight around my ribs, and Corey, looking increasingly emotional, walked up silently and gently wrapped her arms around my shoulders to hug me as well. Something occurred to me that I didn't ask before. "Oh, have you two done anything?" Booty replied.
You mean like do it?
Corey interrupted. "No, we wouldn't do anything without making sure you were okay with it."
So
Why
you can
is he okay with it?
We want you to watch and sob a little bit. It really makes us get going.
That's the next line.
To make sure you were okay with it. Hearing this put a big smile on my face. It was amazing to have two people who cared that much about how I felt. Honestly, I'm not trying not to cry while I'm hearing this. I feel great about this arrangement that I had no choice in.
Okay, so what would have been like? I don't know. So it would have been. It would have been bad in your story where you get like dumped by your girlfriend for another girl. But then to basically be like, it's not as if like, yeah, you're not. It's not an actual sort of like polyamorous relationship. It's literally just like, I'm gonna fuck him and I'm gonna fuck her.
And
But
also,
you're cool with
and
it.
also, like, he's straight, right? Like the main character.
Presumably.
So it's not even like he gets anything out of it, because if you think about it, like you just said, it's not a poly thing. Because she's gone like, she's a woman, and I'm also a woman, so it's not cheating. So then he would, if it's for him to not cheat, but to go and have sex with somebody else, it would have to be with a man, right? By that logic. However, it's established he's straight. So again,
so he can't go have another.
yeah, exactly. So he's really just like been
getting the short end of the stick.
and he's apparently totally okay with it. Fuck off!
And if he was gay and getting the short end of the stick up the arse, then it would be fine.
Yeah. Corey has a lovely dulcet voice. Hello.
It's me, Corey. Can't you tell by my sweet voice?
My sweet feminine ways, Corey. So, welcome everybody to the Corey Hour. I'll be speaking to you now, reading some of my old favourites.
But before that, we are sponsored by Raycon.
Here's one of my literary favourites. Pepsi Max. Ingredients. Carbonated low-calorie cola. Carbonated water. Colour.
How much are you going to keep reading?
Cobb, you didn't finish the sentence.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Two people who were that loyal to me.
Yes, you should finish the sentence.
Two people who are that loyal to me. Like, I feel, Greg, that you and the rest of, like, the civilized world have a very different idea of the fucking definition of the word loyal. You mewling, weak cuckold.
To be fair, he also doesn't understand the word consent.
Also, I just need to shout out this comment in the chat. Just Corey is now well and truly in the house.
You know, that deserves moist.
Just like Matt, all this like weird moist fucking train today. I'm
kind of hoping someone in the audience really doesn't like when someone says moist.
Well, they've probably just left. I said to them both, well, I'll leave you two alone then. Love you. Pussy!
As he walks out the room, Chris Rock was there trying to say something, and he just
smacks him in the face. As I was walking out, I glanced at Corey to catch her silently mouthing the words, love you, toward me. I closed the door as the two of them began kissing. I decided now was a good time to head to the chow hall to eat. I can't believe you're capable of eating right now. Like, do you know, like, the pit in your stomach that's somehow allowing you to eat? This was a pretty emotional time for Corey, likely more than anyone considering how anti-gay her environment consistently was. She probably hadn't yet had the opportunity to be with a woman like she was with my girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, that's probably, it's probably not a good thing that she's gone for someone who's in a relationship, right? Like, she probably doesn't have very healthy ideas about relationships because she's been raised in a homophobic environment. She should probably go for someone who's single.
Hypothetical question, Gemma, I'll start fucking Jacob in the ass. How do you feel about it? It's okay, he's still here. I still love you. I'm just going to start having sex with Matt. Yeah, I just take him out the weekends and fill his
But
guts.
you and Matt have been good friends, so therefore you've been through a lot together, right? So the love means it's okay, right? Or do I sound like a maniac right now?
Yeah, you do.
Does it sound like a betrayal and an excuse? Somewhat you want, like a greedy person who wants to have his cake and eat it.
It's like me and Matt.
Out the ass.
We're both boys and we all love each other. That's right, Gemma. I'm gaslighting you into letting me cheat.
Cursed your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
I'll finish this paragraph and then we'll read Super Chats. I was really happy for her. No, you fucking weren't. Oppression of people for the way they were born is part of the reason I can't stand most humans. You're a piece of shit, go fuck yourself. Right, now let's read some super chattios. That's cereal.
Super Chattios!
It's not very nice and really expensive.
Yeah, you have to keep buying the more expensive boxes. Like the red ones really cost. Like...
Basically, it's like letters. It's like alphabet spaghetti, right?
But it's letters.
They're also coloured as well.
You only get a few if you buy the $1.99 Super Chattios, so you can't write much. Thank you, Squid Jones. Greg, I have some tapes I have to return. Yeah, he's like an unsuccessful Patrick Bateman. Some English bloke, £5. Leave me alone, Corey. I'm busy putting the chair together so I can kick it out from underneath me. That's why he started standing. He was building a really beautiful chair and just fucking hanging himself.
Yeah, like, you know, he goes to the shower hall with a big, clearly fake grin on his face, or tears running down his eyes.
Peter, thank you for the $4.99. When I volunteered at a zoo, they told me that the most dangerous animals they had were, unsurprisingly, the chimps. I wonder if they like onions. Just fucking throw him into a fucking chimp enclosure.
Well, I've been cucked by a girlfriend. The only way I don't want to live anymore.
Is that the ending? Is he the little boy that fell into the gorilla enclosure in 2016? Where was this book written? Thank you.
Yeah.
No. He does that to try and commit suicide. He goes back in time. It's like that awful movie, The Butterfly Effect. Yeah. But instead of strangling himself with the umbilical cord in utero, yes, that's the ending. I just saved you 3 boobless hours. Instead, he goes back to when he was a small black child. And deliberately falls into the enclosure at Cincinnati Zoo, starting this timeline in which we now live.
Without her own face.
It's like a really shitty reboot of Quantum Leap. Ziggy says you need to be killed by gorillas.
No, excuse me, what? Thank you, Jamie Dodgems, for the £2. Moist only draws me in. Fucking based. Oh, fetishization and acceptance are not the same thing. Oof. My throat's fucking killing me.
Well, I think we're probably nearly done.
Yeah. Do you want to carry on, Gemma?
Also, Gemma, watch out! You're really close to the mic.
You're gonna kick it. Yeah.
I was raised in a split home. My mum was always telling me to be myself, to be strong and stand up for what I believe in.
And don't get cut, son.
Meanwhile, my dad, he's just
my father on his deathbed is like, son, no matter what happens, don't let a woman gaslight you into letting her cheat like I did. Don't make the same mistakes as me, boy.
That's why I'm trying to get you to eat vegetarian food. He's just another religious, self-righteous, pretend optimist who passively demonizes everyone who was born significantly different than he was.
Look who's fucking talking! You've spent this entire quote-unquote book ridiculing people who are even slightly different to you and beating people senseless. You are a hypocrite.
The only person who he doesn't seem to discriminate, who's different from him, is he someone who he was having sex with before. Pretty soon, do you think the thing's going to change after this? Oh, there you are, booty. I suppose you and your difference.
Everything I can do to contradict him is a victory in some way, but you're not contradicting him.
You see, he's having a stable relationship with one woman.
So I will have an unstable relationship with 2 women.
But remember that bitch is fat, which, as we've discussed, is evil.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I hate when people are oppressed for being different. Also, fuck overweight people. It's like, dude.
I remember kicking her in the face or something like that.
He's like, I fucking hate the obese. Just wailing on her.
Do you remember when they going back to the
This
second
is
or
the worst book ever written.
Remember the when the cops came in and pulled guns out from not eating his vegetables?
Like somebody in the chat in one of the streams was like, yeah, apparently his dad called the cops on him in real life. That's because he threatened to burn down the house.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't eat his fucking, tofu or whatever.
I'm so death machine. Everything I can do to make the people I love happy, well, that's an even greater victory. As I ate chicken and drank ginger ale in the chow hall, I thought about Corey and Booty back in the room.
And cried.
I just started jacking off. I was like, well, I'm not going to get any, but I can, if I put my ear really close to the wall, I can just about hear the muffled moans.
He's crying, sobbing, jacking off.
Just
Forever Young is playing really loudly.
Yeah, just Booty, just making a lot of noise. Like, well, it sounds like she's having a good time. Hopefully she's thinking of me. She's like, wow, you are a much better lover than my boyfriend. Why would she say that?
Do you remember that thing I showed, the old clip of the the guy who stole the bike, oh well, I hope he's enjoying it thing?
Just Seth Rogen when his car got broken into.
You probably needed that more than I did. My mind went wild thinking about what they could be doing. I tried to always be a gentleman around most women, but in my mind I would fantasize about them constantly.
Yeah, gentleman around most women. Not most girls, though, Greg.
I can't say it enough.
Nonce.
My mind is routinely invaded by perverted
Nonce.
thoughts. The millions of potential human beings I carry
Moist.
between my legs every day
Oh,
inspire
shut
this
up,
line
you
of
fucking
thinking.
creep.
They demand I think about these things. I'm not afraid to admit it because it's just who I am. Think about it. What are we supposed to expect from people who have a significant part of their body demanding they reproduce? It's not like some outside influence. Just because you've got a pregnancy fetish, Greg, doesn't mean everyone else is obsessed with having children. It's not like some outside influence sharing a mere opinion. It's a literal piece of you whose sole purpose is to procreate. That's the difference between the rest of the animals and us, really. Most of us all have similar equipment, but humans choose to use it differently because we cling to the concept of civility and social expectations. In a lot of ways, that's not even a bad thing. The power to choose and how we execute that power defines us.
Okay, so time for Super Chats again. Thank you to everybody who sent them. So, Peter, thank you for the $4.99. That's it, Greg. You bought this on yourself. And then this is, I don't speak whatever language it is. It looks like some kind of Latin-based language, but it could be something else. I don't know. If you translate that, it's not bad at all, but Greg would hate it. Well, I might, but I probably won't. But thank you. Thank you to the neighbour's kid for the $5. Greg getting gaslighted. Oh, how the tables have how the turns have tabled. Thank you, Uncle Palby, for the £2. American Simpo. Be like, do you like Gary Glitter? Sir, when he released this, I did it. You guys hear that, I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumour that that R. Kelly released an album from prison called I Did It, and it pulled down from Spotify in 45 minutes of being up. But I don't know if that's actually true, but it's a rumour I heard.
I mean, it sounds like a rumour, but it sounds like a plausible one.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that fucking weirdo.
A lot of people use...
I believe I can piss.